So I wanted to show you some intermediate side flexion trunk stretches. The first one is side arm preps kneeling. So I've got the stopper all the way in, the foot bars all the way down, one medium spring or one blue spring. We're going to be using the front strap here, closest to the camera. So we're having our knees down on the carriage, one leg right up against the shoulder rests, and then for this other leg, we're going to be careful to bring it up into this half kneel position. So making sure that we're nice and lifted through the body, we're not sort of sinking this way, we're not sinking into a posterior tilt. So everything is engaged and awake. If you want, you can have this hand on the knee, and then one hand is going to be starting close to the ear. We're going to reach over and up into the side bend. So there's definitely some activity, right? So we have to push actively against the strap there to make sure we don't end up collapsing. So there's definitely a pulling here of the spring in that direction and a pushing of the muscles as we come. And then over again, reach and return. So as we reach over, we're going to think of gapping the ribs apart, fanning them open, and returning. So big breath in, open those ribs, and then come back in. Or if you want, you can reverse the breath for your exhale. But again, just really depends on whatever it is that you're after for your client. The next exercise is a little bit trickier. We're going to have the short box. Let's put this back. So we'll take our reformer box here, put it on top, making sure that it's pushed all the way up against the shoulder rests, engaging 2 heavy springs, finding the foot strap, and then if you have your Pilates pole handy, this is also nice as well. So getting onto the box, always be careful not to sit on the end because it can be a little bit tippy. So hand in the middle or close to the middle, and then bring the bum down closer to the center. 2 feet strapped or hooked into the foot strap, heels down. From here, we're going to round down through the spine and then sit back up nice and tall. Try and just get a feel for it so that you trust the strap. And once you sort of feel comfortable here, leaning into the strap, then I would go into our exercise, which is side flexion in this mermaid position. So hands up overhead. Remember, we're going to trust that strap. My leg is in a little bit of internal rotation to get myself in there. Overhead, bending to the side, and then back in. So for some people, it can get a little grippy for the glute med, and if that's the case, I would encourage them to sit further back onto the box, and then moving from here, it can be a little bit more comfortable to go from a deeper position. So again, opening up those ribs, some nice eccentric lengthening, and then concentric work to return. You can do without the bar or without the pole if that's something that works better for your client, but again, you do have options there. Okay, so lastly, our most challenging exercise is a variation of elephant. So we're going to remove the box, don't need that anymore, put that back. We're going to put one heavy spring and one heavy spring and one medium spring, or one heavy spring and one light spring, depending on what you're after. For me, I think I'm going to do one heavy, one light today, or one red and one white. Foot bars all the way up to the top, stoppers all the way in, so everything is closest to the front end. We're going to be up, starting in elephant, but we're going to add a little bit of a twist here. So we're going to take the legs, take the back leg, put it in the shoulder rest that's closest to the wall behind me, and I've got the other leg here. So we're actually turned here. So there's rotation with some added flexion on the right side here. But if we're looking at the top side of my trunk, there is quite a bit of flexion, I would say, happening as well. So pressing out through, we're going to pick that trunk back up to come in, and then press out again. So with this exercise, we're really aiming on stretching this side here and then keeping the underside nice and long. I'll just show you from the other side. Might be able to see a little bit better. So we're pressing away, creating length in the waist, and then rounding up, getting in some nice rotation there. So again, I'll just emphasize that these are intermediate level. That last one is probably the most challenging because there is the added element of rotation. But I mean, we don't move in each plane. We don't move purely in one plane at a time. So it's nice to kind of have multi-planar exercises, especially when we're trying to stretch through the trunk.